And I want to say to you, and I want you to start thinking about, life is always going to be busy. Life is always going to get in the way. There's going to be Mother's Day, Father's Day. There's going to be, kids that are sick, you are sick. There's going to be, something that happened, something else that happened. But really, it's up to you to make a decision on what do you want out of this life, right? For me, it was very important that, my health was put as a priority, regardless of what was happening outside of me. And I live up to this promise every single day. Like I said yesterday, I have gone through some other very, very stressful situations after cancer. Cancer was one of them, right? After cancer, it's been 4 years. I've gone through so many stressful situations, but I never stop putting myself first. I've never stopped focusing on my health, physically, mental first. And I never stopped really focusing on me as a priority, and I am what I am today, feeling the healthiest, feeling the happiest, being able to run a successful business because I've done that. We are the foundation of the life that we are building, right? So if you have a flimsy foundation, if you are exhausted, if emotionally you're broken, it's very difficult for you to build a strong foundation. So putting ourselves first, I used to think like selfish, especially after you have kids, but selfish was what I did, which was left my health get so bad that I almost died and left my kids to grow up without my mom. That was selfish. So it's very, very important for you to start becoming aware that life is not going to stop. Life is going to get busy. I had somebody joining one of my challenges and answering the question saying, I know what I need to do. I just need the world to stop for a couple of weeks so I can get organized. Guys, the world's never going to stop. The world's never going to stop for you or for anyone. You need to set your priorities right. You need to make a decision on how you want to live the life that you want to live, right? You need to start tackling, the obstacles that you are facing in a different way. Otherwise, you're just going to keep getting the same results. You are the one that needs to decide what actions are you going to take. But before we get onto the subject today, I want to start with another breathing exercise. Why the breathing? Because as I mentioned before, yesterday, most people don't know how to breathe. Most people are shallow breathing, and it's very, very harmful to our bodies. Okay, our cells, they depend on oxygen, right? So if you're not breathing properly, if you're shallow breathing, you are creating an enormous amount of stress in your physical body, and as a result of that, you're in constant in flight and fight mode. So breath work has become so popular these days because it really helps people to practice to get into the parasympathetic system so they can feel relaxed. And the more you practice that, the more you get good at it, like anything else, like riding a bike. If all you've done is practice shallow breathing, that's all you know, and it becomes a habit, and it doesn't matter where the habit comes from anymore because it's already an ingrained habit. So breathing is a practice. So today what we're going to do, it's called a cleansing breath, and that comes from the yoga tradition. If you have done yoga and if you practice yoga, you'll know about that. So we're going to take a deep inhale on the count of 4, and on the exhale we're just going to make a noise as in ah. And that's really cleansing, not only, the breathing, but also the energy that sometimes gets stuck in our bodies. Yoga is very, very powerful to move the energy around our bodies. And most people are living like this. There is so much blocked energy because they don't move, because they don't breathe properly, because they don't process their emotions. So they are in a state of so tightness in their bodies that they start creating disease and discomfort and pain and back pain and headaches and migraines or whatever it is. Okay, so it all starts manifesting in our physical body depending on how much we really put stress on our emotional and mental health. So let's just take a deep, if you were sitting down, it would be good for you to sit with your spine erect, like really think that there is a little line pulled from the bottom of your spine all the way to the top of your head. And the reason why it's important for you to sit up straight is that our spinal cord is is a tube that carries this energy that goes up and down. If you're sitting like that, the energy can't really move through your body. So it's important that you sit with your spine erect and really thinking that there is somebody pulling this little line from the bottom of your spine to all the way to the top of your head. Okay, guys, so you can close your eyes or you can do whatever you want. So take a deep inhale through your nose on the count of 4. And on the exhale, it's important that you make the noise and that you let it go the air. Okay, one more time. Inhale through the nose on the count of 4. And start really allowing your body to feel more relaxed and letting some of the tension and the stress that you've been holding onto your physical body so you can open your mind and learn from this session. And one more time, inhale. Right, guys, I really hope that it has helped you. You can do this at any time of the day. In actual fact, you can do this exercise or the one that we did yesterday, which is just counting the inhales and the exhale on the count of 4. So you really kind of get yourself used to not being in this shallow breathing mode, in this kind of sympathetic, flight and fight mode. If you practice this, is a very powerful tool as you go throughout the day. Today, I want to talk about something that it's very prominent in the world these days because of the overwhelm of things that we think we need to be doing and the pressure that we see maybe on social media and in everybody around us. And just a little recap on what we covered yesterday with the statement, "I'm not enough." And I really love Joelle's comment saying, "I've always searched for disapproval from external approval." And it was a very brave and courageous because there's a lot of people here that will feel the same, but they haven't just commented. So thank you so much, all, to mention that, to be brave enough to say that. I realized that, I was doing that, and as a result of that, I was dragging myself to the ground before I was diagnosed with cancer, but mostly, I wanted the approval of my parents. And although I didn't have a good relationship with them, I constantly seek that approval, which left me with this feeling of I am not enough because I didn't even speak to them at the time. So what I want to say here is like, look, there is a very important part of the process of, the healing the traumas and the wounds and the hurt that we have gone through through in our past with therapists and psychologists. And I think there's an important part of the healing, but there is so much we can talk about it and stay in that state, until you start taking different action to start practicing the feeling and the being of I am enough. You're never going to get out of that state, because I could have still be going to the therapist and still be talking to her about and then my dad did this and then my mom did that and then this happened and that happened, and because of this I don't feel enough, and you stay in that cycle. Now I have cancer, oh my god, life is terrible, and you still keep repeating and manifesting the same situations in your life that just really dictates that the statement that you've been telling yourself over and over again, I am not enough. So I am very, very focused on action, and this is what I work with my clients. There is no point in talking about something if you're not going to take action. Many people are in this group and they'll be listening to this, and they're not going to take any action. Like it's proven that even in groups that people pay money for it, only 3% of people finish a course, let alone something that is free. So I really encourage you to take action, because nobody's going to take action for you. Okay, so unless you start taking different action, you're going to keep getting the same results. So the I am enough statement, and you might think like, Angelica, but it's like just putting a post-it note, I am enough, is that going to do anything? Now I want to ask you something. What you're doing, how you're living, how you've been living for the last year, for the last 2 years, the last 3 years, is that doing anything? Are you feeling any different about yourself and about the world around you and about your relationships and about, everything that you were experiencing in life? Probably the answer is no. I know that because I have been there. So it wasn't until I really put my hand up and said, I'm doing, something's terribly wrong here. There are parts in my life that I am stuck and I need help. And there is other parts that I can figure out by myself. But I couldn't figure out on myself everything on my own. But there is one definitely constant. Until I took full responsibility and started taking different action, nothing had changed in my life. So until I did that, I didn't start feeling I was enough. So yes, if you do it once, you're not going to instantly feel I am enough from day one to day two, but it's a process. Because like I said yesterday, I had practiced 38 years of thinking and feeling that I wasn't enough. So it's going to take a little while, or it took a little while for me to feel that I was enough. And it's going to take a little while for you to feel you're enough. But if you don't do anything about it, for sure, you're going to keep feeling you're not enough. That's a constant. Right? So we want to feel safe, and we want to feel protected, and we want to stay in this enclosure place, this prison that we have made for ourselves because it's safer. We feel like if I stay here, I'll feel safe and protected. But in actual fact, people are in so much pain in those prisons. I know that because I have been there. Because, the magic is not until you get out of there. And you realize that the prison that you have made to yourself, just to protect yourself, is a way harder, is a way more painful than putting yourself out there and changing and creating new habits. So the habit that I want to talk about today, it is self-loathing. As I mentioned before, there is an enormous amount of pressure from the outside. You need to be doing this, you need to be doing that, unless you have a perfect relationship, a perfect body, a perfect business, you're no one. Who are you? You need to do this, you need to do that, you need to buy my course, you need to do this, you need to do that. So you feel like this, oh my God, unless I am perfect, unless I am doing 500 million things at the same time, I'm not good enough, I'm not succeeding in life, I'm missing out. And then you get in this cycle of, believing that, the belief that, you're not disciplined, you're procrastinating. And then, your thoughts are like, see, I can't do this, I can't do that. I've tried, it never worked. And then, your actions reflect that. And you keep going over and over and over again. But I want to just talk about something that with the self-loathing come an expectation that's unrealistic. Most people have unrealistic expectations for how they can become a different person, how they can change their lives, right? For me, as a necessity, I didn't have any expectations. My expectations were very much, I just want to live, right? I'll start with that. And because I couldn't do go 100 million hours, miles an hour, I had to start with small steps because my body was so sick. And because I could only do that, some days I could only get out of bed and go for a walk around the block, I really felt and experienced the power of small habits. But most people, they are walking around, feeling sometimes a lot of physical discomfort. But as long as they can turn up to work, feed themselves with a load of crap food and go to bed every night and watch their Netflix and be on social media for how many hours, they just keep going. They keep going and living a life that they don't want to live, but it's safe. Right? So when you talk about change, they want to go from that place of eating unhealthy, of hating their job, of starting their business, of not having a relationship, to feeling fit, healthy, and strong, having a successful business, having their best relationship ever overnight. And that is where there is a mismatch here. Right? And this is why adverts are so powerful, because the adverts that sell are telling people, hey, come and lose all the weight in 7 days. And people go, buy. And then they think like, why didn't I lose weight? Because it's not possible. If you have been overeating, if you've been obese and overweight for the last 10 years, it's going to be very difficult for you to lose weight in 2 months. Right? Or they go like, oh, I just want to have, I want to go from a job that I hate to have a successful business. And this course says, hey, buy my course and you can become a millionaire in 3 months. And you go buy it and it doesn't work. And then you go like, oh, I knew it wouldn't work, because I'm not disciplined. I'm procrastinate. I know, yeah, I just need to go back to my job and be unhappy. I don't know why I tried this. And the action is, I just can't, I can't be bothered to do anything. So you just keep going around that. But do you know anybody who's built a successful business in made $1 million in 3 months? The answer is no, right? That doesn't exist and that doesn't happen. Do you know anybody who's been obese and they lost all the weight in 3 months? I mean, when I say you might know somebody that lost a lot of weight, but do you know that somebody who has sustained, the weight loss? So think about it. Unless you start setting yourself some real expectations, some realistic expectations, that if there is an area in your life that you have dig yourself a hole like myself, and it's quite a deep hole, you're not going to just get out of it like that. You're just going to have to be willing to put on the work. You're going to have to be willing to seek for help. You're going to have to be willing to do the hard things. You're going to have to be willing to put yourself out of the comfort zone. And you're going to have to be willing to set yourself some real expectations here. So the self-loathing come with one, unrealistic expectations, and two, when you look at the word like discipline, when most people they talk about, I'm a procrastinator, I don't have enough discipline, I'm not motivated enough. If you look at what discipline means, it means the practice of training people to obey rules or a code of behavior, using punishment to correct disobedience. So this is exactly what you are doing every day. You set yourself a task, and a realistic task. I just want to lose all the weight, and I want to become a super motivated person, and I want to run a marathon in 3 months. And then you start this super strict diet, and after a week, you just can't do that anymore, and you go back to eating everything that you used to before. And then you punish yourself. So you're forcing yourself to doing something drastic, and you punish yourself with the self-loathing. And you go like, I knew it wouldn't work. I knew I'm not motivated enough. I knew I'm not disciplined. I'm never going to lose the weight. I'm never going to be fit. I'm never going to have energy. But the expectations were not realistic from the beginning. That's one problem. Right? The second problem, you're forcing yourself into doing something without thinking about a plan that is going to get you succeeding, which is, I can't go from here to there. This is impossible. I need to build a solid foundation. I need to start with small steps, consistent steps, things that I can do in the long term. I always tell my clients, what we're going to work together are things that you're going to really feel that you can keep doing for the rest of your life. I didn't change everything in my life so I could go back to eating, burgers and fries and chocolate and beer and salami and cheese, which was definitely, my weakest point. Not the burgers and the fries, but the cheese and the salami. I didn't. I made all the changes slowly, and they started compounding into this massive result. Today, is it hard for me to eat healthy? No. Did I start here? No. Did I take small steps? Yes. So that is really, really important. The self-loathing comes from forcing yourself to doing something without a plan to succeed. The difference between, the people who can get back up on their feet, people that are successful, and people that are not successful, is that people, they can get back up again. They make a plan, so they just don't go over and over again following plans that do not work, giving themselves unrealistic, goals and expectations. That's the big difference between people that succeed and people that don't succeed. And besides, if you are trying to change a part of your life that you're stuck in, you're bound to have this ups and downs. But if you're going up, that's totally fine. The the unrealistic expectation comes from, I need to be completely perfect from this point to this point without any ups and downs, which is very, very, very unrealistic, because you just keep feeding this cycle. And by the time, this is why weight loss is, one of the biggest problems in the health world these days, because people, they go on drastic diets. The latest fad these days is intermittent fasting. They starve themselves for 16 hours. They do it for a week, and then they start eating cakes because they've been starving their bodies for a week. Now, I don't believe in that, because I know most people won't be able to sustain that. I believe in balancing your body, and I believe in intermittent fasting when your body's ready to do it, not from a place of lack or a place of sickness or a place that, the body's so starving already for nutritious food that you're going to starve it even more. That is just one small example. So I don't want to go for too long today, but what are we going to practice instead of the self-loathing? So there's two very powerful practices, and that you're going to start to change your actions and change your behaviors and change your beliefs, so you can change and rewire your brain. Which is, the first one is write 3 things that you are grateful for in the morning. So you're going to leave a little notebook next to your glass of water, and you're going to write 3 things that you are grateful for in the morning as soon as you wake up. And I don't want you to write anything. I just want you to connect with the feeling. And it could be as simple as, like, I'm grateful for my bed. I'm grateful for my husband. I'm grateful for my partner. I'm grateful for my dog. I'm grateful for my feet. I'm grateful for my hair. Whatever it is. It doesn't have to be something crazy. But the most important thing is that you connect the feeling of gratitude, because it's a very powerful feeling that creates different chemicals in your body. And there is a lot of research that really shows that gratitude increases the boosts the immune system, increases mental health. It's unbelievable what it can do for you. But the key thing is just to leave your notebook next to your bed, so you don't have to go like, oh, what should I write this down? Oh, I forgot about it. Oh, I don't know where to write it down. Not write on your phone either. It's important to, just to go old school and really feel into it, right? So it's simple rehearsal in your head. I'm going to leave my glass of water, and next to it, I'm going to have my notebook and a pen just right there. As soon as I wake up, I drink my glass of water and I write things down. Okay? So now, the second thing, that same notebook, you're going to leave next to your bed, and you're going to write 3 things that you have done well on that day. And even if you wrote, I drank my glass of water first thing in the morning, I didn't look at my phone, I had a different breakfast, the things that we're talking about in this challenge here, they are powerful things. And you start creating this momentum, which is different than what you have done before. And then you start to believe that you can do it. And then you start thinking that you can do it. And then you start taking more action towards it. Okay? So that is the loop that you want to get yourself into. Not the loop that we talked about before. Celebrating your wins is a tool that successful people use, because they don't keep telling themselves that they are not good enough, that they haven't done this right, they haven't done that. Otherwise, they wouldn't keep going. This self-loathing is not beneficial to you. It just keeps you at a lower vibration, keeps you running this cycle that hasn't worked for you for years. Take each disappointment, each time that you haven't done what you thought that you should have done, as a learning lesson, as an opportunity for you to go, you know what, okay, I looked at my phone this morning because the phone was next to my bed. So tomorrow I am going to put my phone in the kitchen. I'm supposed to go like, why did I do that? Like, I'm such a loser. I shouldn't have done that. I'm not following this. I'm not following that. No, just take it as an opportunity for you to learn and to apply a different action straight away. And if you get into a mode, which you will, because it's a practice, and to start going, why did I do this? Why did I do that? Why did I do this? Why did I do it? You just tell yourself gently, stop. That's enough. That inner voice is inside your head, and you think that inner voice controls you, but that inner voice doesn't control you. You allow that inner voice to control you, but you can tell that inner voice to stop. Very gently, very simply. It's just becoming aware of what's going on. Most people, they think that they have control of their lives, but what has control of their lives is that inner voice, the dialogue that they go over and over again inside their heads. And everything that you do that benefits your body, your mind, and your soul, it gets you stronger so you can control that inner voice. It's as simple as that. But you need to take action. You need to start really moving your whole body, mind, and soul into taking different actions, so you start feeling in your body, mind, and soul that you are a different person. Guys, the homework today is to write it down, to either the 3 things that you're grateful for, or the 3 things that you have done, that you have accomplished, that you are proud of. Very simply, they don't have to be a book. They don't have to be crazy. Just write it down, the 3 things that you're grateful for, and the 3 things that you have accomplished on that day. They need to be very, very simple things. You're not, trying to think like, oh, I've created the light bulb today. It's not like that. They need to be very, very simple. Okay. So guys, watch the videos. Like I said, those videos are going to go down on Sunday. This challenge group is not going to stay here forever. And I'm saying this here because I know that life is going to get on the way, but it's up to you to take action. Okay. I know for sure, I can guarantee you that you're going to feel different if you follow what I am talking about here. Now, I've experienced myself, and I have had lots of clients experiencing that, but it's up to you. I'm not living with you. I'm not in your head. I'm not there telling you, holding your hand, going, hey, you have to do this. It's up to you. You are an adult. You are the one that can make a decision, how you want to go about your life. Okay. So just know that those videos, take advantage. It's a free challenge, but unless you start taking action, listen to it and applying, you're just going to keep feeling the same. Okay. So if you have any questions, please ask below. I can't wait to see your homework. I always say in my challenges, the magic is in the homework. The last challenge, people were sharing so many like deep and profound and personal things, that it was beautiful to see that people were opening up, they were changing, they were becoming more aware. But if you just stay behind the scenes and you don't want to be seen, and you don't want to, I'm not sure about this, I'm not so sure about that, you remember, you're staying in that prison, you're staying in that safe place, and nothing's changing. Okay. So part of this process is really putting yourself out there, being true to yourself, taking 100% responsibility. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Tomorrow, don't miss out. We